Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Out of Our League. Today we have myself, Phil J. Woodward. We have Gage, GF2 Cool. We have Caesar Towers. And as always, Ben, please be excited. I didn't forget you this time. And our special guest this time, which I am super excited about, is none other than CoolG, Cool Greg himself.
Happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me, y'all. I just realized you said one of these guys' names is Too Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
GF2 Cool.
Yeah,
GI
it's-
Too Cool. Okay. It's a little bit of competition. I didn't realize this was going to be like a competitive kind of podcast. But all right.
It's good for your brand.
It's okay. It's Gage and Greg. You know, that's
Yeah.
all right.
I
I
gotta
try to
say,
get rusty.
Competition of the G's.
Keep me
You
on
know
my
what's cool
toes.
G.
I gotta say, I've been hating that username since I made it when I was like 12. Now I love it. This is fantastic. Thank you for that
Just for this
validation.
content alone.
That's amazing.
Which is the cooler G? We'll find out by the end of this episode.
Oh, I mean, I think it's obvious. It's the one rolling right now.
Sorry, I showed up a little later than I was expecting. It should have been rolled.
You're all good.
We'll be all right.
You're all good. All right. So first things first, we've got some fun community questions. We've got some questions of our own. I think the big question though is, how have you been doing? What have you been up to?
Man, I've been trying. I think specifically you're asking since this quarantine shit, or am I taking that wrong? Yes, it's the quarantine shit. Hell yeah. Dude, honestly, man, I've been pretty good. You know, I live with Tim and Gia, so I try to respect their boundaries. You know what I mean? Because they're like my landlords or whatever. So, you know, I know they see shit differently than I've seen shit. Obviously, they own businesses, you know, and I'm just an employee. But you know, they see shit so differently. So, like, that's been my big motivation for trying to take care of myself because, you know, I 1000% believe in this coronavirus shit. You know what I mean? But it's just so much things for me to worry about. I wasn't really taking it too serious in the beginning, you know. Like when the BLM protest popped off, I was front line and center with everybody, you know, it's fucking up my
We saw those videos, you know.
You know what I mean? 3 a.m, drunk as fuck, talking bullshit. My voice half gone. I'm sounding like a kid going through puberty. Like,
Hey, but you were there. You were there. That's what matters.
at least
man.
I tried, you know, and you know, but it's also like, you know, levels to everything where like Tim and them weren't there, but like the shit they were doing, the amount of people they spoke to, saying to go vote, to do whatever the fuck, you know, I can't vote or whatever, you know, it's a different story in itself, but like they everybody around me, I feel like took it just as serious, but we all took it differently. You know what I mean? And I'm mixing things right now, the BLM and the Corona shit. But for the most part, man, I've been trying to stay safe. But you know, to be real with you, for me, I'm still on these streets. You know, still got to hold it down for everybody. Still got to do you. Still got to be yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's interesting what you brought up right now. Is like with issues, Tim and like the other kind of funny guys, they're more like we'll use our platform to like get awareness, but you're more of the person of like I'm gonna go down there and fight the fight, front of the line.
Yeah,
And
I mean, yeah, maybe not so much front line, but you know, I was in the front line for a second until they were like, "All right, motherfuckers is going to jail," and I quickly was like, "I'm in the back of the line at that point." You know, like I ain't gonna fight the whole fucking fight, but
but
you know,
fight it. You'll fight
I'll
it,
show
though.
up,
Like,
yeah, and I'll show up repeatedly for sure.
you bring drinks and everything, yeah.
Yeah, and then that's the thing too. I'm not even gonna lie to you, man. Just speaking, and we were jumping into it early, but speaking of that shit, like I'm at the BLM shit in front of 850, and like a couple of my friends have already been to jail doing the shit on the Bay Bridge, shutting down the Bay Bridge or whatever. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I don't really know, but you know they did it, and people have gone to jail around me for it. And people have done all this wild shit. I'm chilling at City Hall with my boys, and we're out 20 deep, and this is during Corona. We didn't need to be there. We're there to support. I had to having a speaker. I'm playing Tupac, bro. Literally Tupac. I'm not even a Tupac fan. I'm a Jay-Z guy till I die. I'm not even a Tupac guy. This woman comes out the side and kind of gets mad at me in a sense of, you know, I don't want to get too weird, but I feel like what I took from it, I'm gonna say at least that, right? What I took from it was, you're a white dude partying right now. And I was like, damn, bro, that's what it comes off as. But it's no, I'm playing music to what I thought was uplifting music. And I was trying to be here in support. But it's like, I totally see what you're saying because I am drunk, I am high, and I'm playing music, hanging out with my friends. So I totally see where you're coming from. But none of us see it from how you're seeing it. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of wild. You know, you got to like, it's not always about your perspective, I guess is what I'm saying. My perspective, I was in the complete right, but I heard her and I realized maybe I'm a little more wrong than I think I am, you know?
It's all perspective
But at
at the
least,
end of the day.
yeah, at least you are willing to take a look at that perspective and think about it from their point of view instead of just,
Yeah.
barreling through with your own
Like, yeah.
thoughts. Like right there shows that you have more self-awareness than
Oh
half
yeah.
the United States.
The
Yeah, yeah.
speaker
Yeah,
stopped slapping at that moment, you know? Maybe I turned it back on about 20 minutes later, but at that moment, I turned it off and let her like you were right. Because I'm not here to argue with you, you know?
Yeah.
No, yeah, and I think you definitely like excelled in like you acknowledge your faults and you try to grow from it. And like
Yeah.
that's really a lot of people can't do that. And you're actually trying to be better as a person.
Yeah. And it's difficult being on the internet. I'll say that for surely because I think it's cliche for people on the internet to be like, "Oh, they don't want you to grow. They just want to cancel you." Blah blah blah. I don't think all that. I don't think people are out to cancel me or nothing. I just think, realistically, maybe I'm not the greatest person, and people want me to be better, and maybe I'm not ready to be better. So that conversation can get real awkward and real weird, especially when you're on the internet. And I feel like that's what I deal with a lot. Is a lot of people that are looking out for me and they want me to be quote unquote better, but it's like I'm not trying to be this dramatic, but if you talk to somebody who's been gangbanging their whole life, them being better might be getting out of it, but them being better might be never giving up and staying dedicated to that because getting out of it is the selling out portion. You know what I mean? And there's always, there's levels to everything. It's just that's kind of how I feel, where it's like not everyone's better is better. You know what I
There's no
mean?
such thing as perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, no such thing as perfect, but also even just no such thing as better. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like everyone has their own personal betters. Like
So I'm gonna roll off that. This is all pretty serious. So I'm gonna roll off that and be a little bit lighter. We
Yeah.
have a community question from Reese Boy, who wants to know: is this a character or persona that you play, or is this the real you? And I know the answer to this question, but apparently he wants to know. So
Um, shit, I don't know. That's how it's levels to everything, right? Where like I think this is definitely the real me, but I do not think that the kind of funny best friends like know the real me at the same time, right? Like I was telling you earlier, I think off camera. I don't think we were on camera yet. When I was telling like y'all know Tim, but y'all don't really know Tim, but y'all actually
right.
kind of do know Tim more than I know him because you know him in a different light than I know him, and he'd move differently around you guys than he'd move around me. So I can't say you guys don't know the real him. You guys just know a different real, So you could say this is a persona. My friends make fun of the name Cool Greg. Like no kind of funny best friends ever come up to me and be like, "You're Cool Greg? That's such a stupid name." They're always like, "Hey, Cool Greg," and they show love. So in the sense of like, is it a persona? The fact that I'm even pretending the idea that Cool Greg is a cool thing, that's a persona. Yeah. If I wasn't getting paid to be on YouTube to do that, then yeah, obviously I don't play video games. That's just not cool to
Right.
me. So like, how could you have
Yeah.
a cool guy talking about video games? It's just that to me already doesn't make sense. So if that's what your question is, then yeah, that's just strictly for camera. But the person you're getting, yeah, nah, that's me.
That's
Like
awesome.
cool Greg Gettys, whatever the name is, you know what I mean? You could change that, and it's how you take it, but the person's the same.
Absolutely. Like I said, I knew the answer, but it was a community question that they wanted to throw out there, so I figured I would drop it, and I knew you'd give us some knowledge, so I enjoyed
Nope.
that. Thank you.
That was the right answer. I nailed it though. We were both on the same
Crushed it.
page.
$1. You
To
got
me,
$1,000 from that.
there is no wrong answer here, but it definitely is the answer I expected.
Yeah, like you
Hell
said,
yeah.
Cool Greg. Like there's levels to everything. Like
Everything.
there's
everything.
the version we see of you on camera. There's the version that you are around Tim and Gia. There's the version of you around your friends.
Yeah.
The same, like when we had Tim on, he was talking about Greg Miller. Where, like, the Greg we know is completely different than the Greg that just sits at his computer and works all day. Like
But at the same time, they're the
Yeah.
same person.
Exactly. So there's
Yeah,
just different
yeah.
levels and stuff like that. So yeah, that was a good answer. I like that.
Everybody wears different hats, depending on the
Yeah.
people they're interacting with. It just so happens that Cool Greg is wearing a Jay-Z hat, It's
Yeah.
just-
The goat. Yeah.
Now, speaking of, go ahead, Susan.
No, I was gonna say, speaking of Jay-Z, I have a confession to make, Cool Greg.
Let's hear it.
I am not Well, growing up, I wasn't a rap guy. I wasn't a hip hop guy. Growing up, I grew up in Texas. My mom made me listen to country like every day. So now that I'm older, I'm 21 now. I'm exploring my own music. I'm exploring my own types. I listen to more like hip hop style beats and shit.
Yeah.
What is some stuff you might recommend to a newcomer?
To a newcomer, can you tell me like one of your favorite artists, any genre?
Um,
Do I have something to go off of? Like a
to give you
little
like a
bit?
taste, like I know it's like it might sound cheesy. But Macklemore is really cool. I like Macklemore.
Oh,
Uh,
I mean, Macklemore's
or Ryan
rapping, man.
Lewis.
Motherfuckers hate on his shit. Like,
Ryan Lewis too. I like him.
and you
I'm
check out
getting like
his
hip hop
early
now.
shit. You check out his early shit,
Some of it, not
Macklemore,
all of it.
because I know
Oh,
he got Macklemore got some songs about graffiti. So like people hate on Macklemore, but I feel like if you're down with b-boys and you're down with graffiti writers and like you've actually like put in the work and then you want a Grammy off a hip hop album, yeah, it sucks you beat Kendrick and it's like like they're gonna hate on you forever for that. But at the same time, it's like it's pretty impressive in my book. I'm never going to be the guy to hate on Macklemore. He's not my favorite rapper, but I'm still very impressed by what he's doing.
to respect it.
So who would you recommend then?
Like Imagine
Um,
Dragons, stuff like that. Just like rent.
well,
Like
I mean,
really,
when
my
you say
music taste is all over
Macklemore,
the wall.
yeah, when you say Macklemore, I think underground hip hop, and I strictly just jump to like there's like so many like to get into like great underground hip hop of a Macklemore fan. I would think Binary Star would be a good jump.
Okay.
Like they're like great, just rappers. They're like 5 years, 6 years into the game more than Macklemore, but they have concept songs, not concept albums so much, but like concept songs. Like they have like the Wolfman song. They have like the Honest Expression where they're going off on like Jet Li or Bruce Lee's teachings. I can't forget who it is. I can't remember who it is right now, but definitely does a lot there for you, man. Macklemore, yeah, just to go off on him, I do think he's hated on more than he deserves. I think he's like really corny. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
I think he's hated on more than he deserves. So that's already a good start for fucking somebody who doesn't know shit about hip hop. It's better than
Uh,
Lizzo. You know what I mean?
I have a spin-off question here. Speaking of rap, being from San Francisco, how do you feel about Watsky?
So Watsky is the guy for like the music, the movie video game fan. You know what I mean? He's not really Barrett. I love Barrett. Barrett's a Watsky fan. I know that. I know Tim's a Watsky fan. I can't tell you much of my friends that are Watsky fans. You know what I mean? So it's like there's like a different
he's like the subgenre of
cultural
rap. Like
theme.
like the
Yeah.
subgenre. Like
He's
there are
closer
many
to
genres.
Macklemore fans, I would say. Where it's like you're not gonna get people that like, not like it's a good or bad thing, right? But I'm just saying like
Yeah.
you're not gonna get people that like do
It's
drugs
taste.
that listen to him,
It's
right?
just
Like
taste for it,
you know what I mean? Like they're not like Travis Scott fans are a different group, like, all that kind of shit. So, but Watsky, I've always had respect for those. But these are just like white boy rappers that are like they're really talented, but they really it's the talent over like having something to say, in my opinion. I'm
Sure.
not saying they don't have nothing to say. I'm not trying to hate on these guys. These guys are great artists. It's just it got to the point where maybe sometimes the audience doesn't even want to hear it or something. You know what I mean? There's some kind of disconnect there. Can y'all hear me good? Am I good?
Yeah, you're good. You're doing good.
Another musician that I like his music, but I just don't like him. Period. Is Kanye.
Oh, really? Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
at odds with Kanye. I love Kanye. Tim and Blessing are huge Kanye fans. Tim and Blessing and Barrett love music that I don't love, but I respect. Those guys, they really
Yeah.
are into like Kanye and Logic and just these kind of motherfuckers. And like I respect it, but like I'm always gonna say Jay-Z's worlds ahead of Kanye, and your Kanye average fan would never hear that conversation. So like, and I'm not saying they're wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
I feel like I could debate them in circles for days. Like I get them. I'll get over on them. We talking
Yeah.
numbers. What we talking? But everybody has their own sense and whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, even as far as fucking why you with Kim K is because she's a wannabe Beyonce, man. Like you see a real power couple ahead of you, and then you're trying to copy and paste that shit. So, I love Kanye. I love Kanye. He's OG Rockefeller. So
I've always had respect for
always.
Jay-Z. I've never listened to his music, but I'll check it out for sure.
You should, man. I'll DM me, man. I'll send you like the go-to songs, dude.
I'll message you right now. Yeah.
Lil Wayne just dropped his new mixtape, and he's been signed to Jay-Z for years, but he drops every now and then. But Jay-Z's always in his corner. But they beef for a couple years. He's always wanted to get Jay-Z on his album. He never got him until The Carter 3, which is one of his best-selling albums of all time. And it's like Jay-Z chose the right fucking album to be on, one of the best-selling albums of all time. But that's real shit, Like it's a businessman
He's
move.
not stupid. Yeah.
And then this new one just dropped, and he has a song called Lamar. Why do you name it Lamar? Probably off of Kendrick Lamar, get us thinking. But he ain't really, we don't know. And he went over this Jay-Z beat where Jay-Z was dissing Nas, and Wayne just straight killed it, just quoting Jay-Z the whole time, going at this imaginary person that we're supposed to think is Kendrick Lamar, and it reminded me of like how important Jay-Z is, that even like years out of the game, like he drops albums and every now and then, like, but he's not like the forefront of it. Even Lil Wayne, like one of the most important rappers of all time, is still going over his music and using his quotes to insult you. That's fucking impressive as fuck to me, bro. Because no one's doing that shit over Eminem beats or Tupac beats. You get to hit him up every now and then, but no one's going over the Biggie beats, But we didn't come here to talk about rap. What else are we talking about, man? What are we talking about?
We can talk about whatever.
Really,
we
yeah,
want,
whatever
honestly.
we're talking about, like your interest and who you are as a person. That's basically, so like rap is a part of your life.
Hell yeah. My
So-
friend,
So basically,
my friend just passed away. His name's Jose Rose on SoundCloud. He got this song called Who? And it's like who fake, who phony, and he went crazy on it, man. And I'm kind of impressed because he has a couple songs out there, but this one I was really impressed with because sometimes you write a rap song and you fall back on these lines, like especially since SoundCloud, right? A lot of catch you in, or not even SoundCloud, like Chief Keef, right? Catch you in traffic, I'm a savage, I'll let you have it. Like these kind of like rhymes you've heard a million times in a different order or whatever, right? Like, but you already know kind of more or less what they're saying. I'm hearing bro, and he's rapping about like keeping his bubble like small and shit, and he's just using words like bubble, like there's only 3 in a huddle. Like for me, this is my hustle, and like just words I haven't really heard rhymed so much, and I was just like, that was really impressive to me, So for me, like, yeah, rap, I really had some belief in him. I want to do another rapper I don't know is a Young Boy, Never Broke Again. I think he's gonna be, him and Lil Baby are probably gonna be like the J. Cole and Kendricks of like this. After J. Cole and Kendrick, we should be talking about Young Boy and fucking Lil Baby. What about you guys, man? Let me ask you, Philip. Who's your favorite musician right now? Like, who you listen to the most? Or actually,
Honestly,
do you have Spotify?
I do, yeah.
What was your roundup looking like?
So actually, this year I listened to almost no music. I listened to almost exclusively podcasts,
sorry.
Okay.
which is crazy to me.
What about in the shower?
No, I listen to podcasts. Man.
Greg Miller.
Yep.
That's not creepy at all.
Greg Miller in the show.
You're a special type of folk, bro. I could never.
So, it's weird, yeah. This year was really interesting. I don't know if it's just because we've been kind of like not able to go anywhere, but like having that social interaction, that ability to listen to someone talk, made me feel like I was still interacting with the world. And
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it helped me kind of get through the quarantine a lot easier. So yeah, I actually did not listen to a lot of music this year at all.
Got
What is on my wrap up is basically the entire Spider-Verse album.
Sure.
Really? This year?
Yeah, this year.
Isn't that from
It's
2018?
It's a hot album though.
Yeah.
It's a great
It
album.
is. That's
2018 album, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's 2018. That's
Man,
just
you
like
still
how good
slapping
that
that
is.
shit. Yeah, there's a few
I love
of
that
them,
movie so much.
man. There's a few of those. I like honestly, I can't think of it right now, but that shit. There's like a few phrases that I was slapping that album hard because XXX was on that album.
Yes, he was.
Juice WRLD was on that album too, I think, or am I tripping?
Maybe
not he
Black Way and Black Caviar were.
Yeah, and I think that's also obviously Post and Sway Lee. I fuck with Sway
Yeah,
Lee.
Sway Lee was there.
Not the biggest Post Malone fan, but Post Malone definitely had like fucking hitters over
See,
the
good
years.
album.
This guy's
I will say though, Post Malone is growing as an artist for sure.
Oh yeah, I got nothing but respect for the
Juice
guy.
WRLD was on the album.
He doesn't make music I want to listen to no more. But it's like I wouldn't
Sure.
expect him to. He's
Yeah.
past that.
I just like the fact that he's constantly evolving and
He's
changing.
speaking to the whole world now. He ain't just
Yeah.
speaking to like our fan base. So I totally get why he's not even speaking to like me no more. I totally get that. But he has like this song called 40 Funk. Man, he's talking about like drinking a 40 and having the cops busting the door and shit. Like that's where I was like, oh, my man going crazy.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, he, Post Malone fucking, he's something special. He to bring it back, Macklemore should have done more of that, more of what Post did. Try to be more a part of the culture, not try to be so like Asher
Reinvented.
Roth about it. Like, oh, I'm my
Oh,
own.
That's a name I haven't heard in
loser.
a long time.
Yeah, like I'm a
Asher
guest.
Roth, holy
Like,
shit.
don't act like a guest. I mean, you are a guest, but you know what I mean. Don't act like a guest because it's just
Yeah.
super awkward.
I used to
Got
love Macklemore,
Post
but
Malone
yeah.
acted like he was invited.
Yeah.
I think the only bad thing we have about Post Malone is Allen Iverson was like, after that White Iverson song came out, he's like, I heard it, I thought that shit was hard, and then I heard that line where he said, I got no rings. I had to sue him after that. And I was like, damn, Iverson, why you gotta sue him? He's like, hey, bro, I gotta take every dollar from that song. You don't bring up I ain't got no rings. Like, don't leave that alone, I thought that was hella funny. It's kind of shady, but it's super funny too.
That is funny. So Gage, why don't we hit it up you? What are you digging on music?
So I'm usually not too like up on music. Like I'll listen to one or two things that come out new, but it's very rare for me to find something that I'm like, I'm gonna add this to my collection, because like that's what I do. I'm not a big Spotify user, never really have been. Like I want to find something
Team
I like.
Team title, bro.
Like I find something I like, I buy it, and like that gets added to what I listen to like constantly.
So when you say something like an album, not an artist, or like a song,
it
or
varies.
Like, what do you mean?
It varies. So there are like Post Malone, for instance. I own the Beer Bongs and Bentley's album, but then from Stoney, I think I only own like 3 songs, because I like those songs, but the rest of the album, I'm not a big fan of. But then there's people like Linkin Park, for instance. Like I buy everything they have, or
even Collision Course.
Dude, hell yeah. So Collision Course was like
supported ho, put some money in Jay-Z's fucking pockets, my man.
I've always like respected Jay-Z like as a businessman and an artist, but like that album was the one that really spoke to me, because I'm kind of like Caesar. I never really grew up listening to rap music. Like that was very much like it's weird because Greg, you remind me so much of like my cousins, except you actually kind of got your shit together, and they did it.
Shout out Tim.
But, like that was
and
their
Kevin,
thing.
And Kevin.
Yeah. Like that was their thing back then. It was like growing up, they were always listening to rap music. It was Tupac, it was Eminem. And so me as like a little 8-year-old, my parents like, you're not listening to this. Like this is you ain't listening to this shit. We're gonna buy you a Green Day album, but then we're gonna edit it and take out all the swear words. Like that's what I grew up with. Okay. So it wasn't until like my teenage years I started getting more into hip hop and stuff. So listening to Collision Course, that was when I was like, oh shit, Jay-Z is like the real deal. But
something special.
Yeah, the newest artist I've really starting to get into is Machine Gun Kelly. Never cared for Machine Gun Kelly at all until he started.
What project? Oh yeah, sorry, go on.
So I never cared about any of his music until he started dropping his quarantine sessions on YouTube over the past few months. Stuff that you could only watch on YouTube, and basically him and his producers will sample a popular song and he does something with it, and they're fantastic. And now he's doing pop punk music with Travis Barker, which is fantastic. That I think he's a better pop punk musician than he was a rapper. But he's still, he's got some range. He seems to be less douchey than he was, so that's a plus as well.
That's a big cosign, Travis Barker.
Yeah.
Big cosign. Like, okay. If he's in Machine Gun Kelly's corner, maybe I shouldn't hate as much as I have.
Yeah, I would say definitely.
I haven't heard anything other than fucking, what is it, Rap God or whatever.
Rap Devil. No, that's what turned me off. That's
hard. I listened to that. I thought that was hard.
It was, but then I heard Eminem's and I'm like, you know what? Machine Gun Kelly kind of sucks, because his like everything in that diss track, I'm like, I don't vibe with any of this. And Eminem comes back and I'm like, yeah, fuck MGK. But then I started listening to his music and like
the tape that Machine Gun Kelly had put out right after he dropped that song, and that song was, I guess, the single for it or whatever. That's the only MGK shit I've ever checked out, and I thought that shit was trash. And I saw him about a week ago, did an interview because I saw it on one of these Instagram pages I follow.
Yeah.
And he was saying that it would have got taken way better if he wasn't beefing with fucking Eminem. And it's the fact that he was beefing with the biggest rapper in the world. That album did so bad. So I was like, that's crazy, because I checked out that album. I'm not even a fan. So I'm like, I think he's fucking lying, dude. So I Googled it. That shit debuted in the top 5. He's literally saying he's beefing with the top rapper and that people didn't check it out because he's beefing with him. You can't debut in the top 5 and say people didn't check your shit out. That means they checked your shit out and your shit didn't fucking hit, so they stopped listening instantly.
Yeah.
Like, that's literally what that means, bro. So I'm like, yeah, he's lying to himself. So the fact that when you said that, that's why I was like, ew, because I literally just double checked that shit. But maybe it's just that one tape I listened to. And you said you didn't like that song, so I'm saying that tape that song was on. I forgot what it was, but it was definitely pop punky. It wasn't hip hop. It wasn't a hip hop album.
Yeah, let me I would definitely
He
recommend
said it was a hip hop album.
I would definitely check out his like quarantine session stuff. So he's got 3 songs on YouTube.
That sounds cool. That sounds real.
The first one that I heard was Smoke and Drive. It's literally just talking about going to the store, rolling a blunt, driving. Second one was called In These Walls. Third one is called Pretty Toxic Revolver. All 3 I would consider like they're hip hop songs, but they're a little bit more poppy.
All dope names.
Yeah, but then after that he started doing pop punk stuff, which was on another level. So I would definitely say
pop punk is the shit that fucking
it's
Andy and Barrett debated about. That was undebatable, right? Did y'all see that? Pop punk.
Oh yeah.
I've heard this term hella. I don't really fucking.
It's like a Blink 182 if you've ever listened to them, or
which like I'm super familiar with the name, but like I can't name a song. But I'm sure I could if you played songs. I'd be like, oh, I know.
Yeah, trust me. Like there's plenty of songs that if you heard, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's Blink. Yeah, they're very The last one to give a shout out is Gunship. So Gunship makes like synthwave music. Basically, it's like 80s retro inspired music. It's super fantastic if you're into that kind of retro aesthetic stuff like that.
That's like movie soundtrack for Tron type shit.
Kind of like it's the type of instruments and stuff they use is that really like kind of synthy electric drum beats, stuff like that, but it's modern day music.
Synth, I'm always like, I kind of know what it means, but I really don't, bro. It's like when I'm talking about flavors, people say bitter. I'm like, I don't think I know what you mean, but I really don't know if I know what it is.
I agree with
Have you seen
like an electric piano that like you can mess with the
electric piano? Yeah.
Basically.
Have you seen Stranger Things?
Okay.
The TV show?
Yeah.
You know the intro to that show?
Yeah.
That's kind of like a synthy sound.
And I've heard hella remixes that too, so I know that beat for sure. So like, I again, like I think I know what it is, but I'm not. I can't really. It'd never be like a fucking description word I throw out there.
So living where I live, like the hip hop that I listen to is like E40.
Hey.
Nice. I live in Humboldt. I
know where the weed at.
Yeah.
Yeah, Humboldt County. That's how I've always just heard in Humboldt County.
Yeah.
What is it? A city?
So Humboldt County is the county, but it's a collective of a bunch of cities. But we all know ourselves as Humboldt.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, because I've only heard Humboldt County. I've never heard the cities. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, E40 comes up. Well, not right now, but he usually comes up like once a year and does like a concert and whatnot. So I grew up with a lot of E40.
Like Andre Nicotina.
Absolutely.
He'd be milking the bay dry.
I think the reason I never really
every day.
Yeah.
I think the reason I never really got into hip hop is because the radio stations here play shit like Cardi B and like that stuff, and I was just like, I can't vibe with that.
I was really rocking with Cardi B, and then I saw a video of her ghostwriter exposing her, and I just was like, damn. I thought she was writing her shit, and then when I found out she wasn't, that's when I really got like turned off. Because there's still a dope if she wrote it, but if she doesn't write it, then it's like,
right.
Because you're supposed to be like the perfect ratchet chick. Like that's how I see it. That's like you're America's Ratchet. So it's like if you can't write your own ratchet shit, then it's like, what?
It's like America's Ratchet.
So now it was because what was her song? Her song was Bodak Yellow, and then the one after that was like don't test me or don't change me or some shit like that. I forgot
something
what it
like
was.
That. Like no joke. Go ahead.
It was like a love song, kind of. It was like a more friendly one, but she was just saying, "Don't cheat on me. You cheat on me, I'll kill you," type shit.
Like no joke.
That shit was hella hard.
For the longest time, like, so she was kind of really coming up when I was working at Best Buy. So her stuff would be playing on the radio, like in the car section. So it's on the speakers. It's super loud. For the longest time, I swear to God, I thought she was just Nicki Minaj.
Oh, hell no.
And I was like, I don't want to listen to this garbage.
So Ben, what about you? We haven't heard from you yet.
Don't disrespect Nicki, man. Your fucking podcast will get canceled. She'll get you, bro. Carbs don't play, bro.
Greg, I'm trying to move on.
You know,
they came at me before, bro. I'm just trying to protect us, bro. Fucking leave them alone, bro.
I appreciate the lookout, but we probably said worse things, if we're being honest. And by we, I mean
no one will get any of the references that I listen to, Phil. It's all local stuff mainly, so it's like P Money and Savage and stuff like. Actually, you might know Savage. I think some of their songs went international.
New Zealand Savage.
But I mean, in terms of the actual back catalogue, like I only listened to, you mentioned Collision Course before. I mean, I had listened to Numbcore before, but I hadn't actually listened to that whole EP back to front, or front to back, sorry, since probably like a month ago. That was super impressive, actually, listening to that. The way they sort of gelled those songs together, that was something.
Yeah.
It's a
that impressed me on some young shit. Like the reason I really got into Jay-Z when I was young is because Tim was on that shit called Game. Sorry, bro. Am I cutting you off, bro?
No, man, you're good. You're good.
Oh, for sure. Sorry, man. I've been drinking a little bit.
Okay.
You're good, man.
My brother was on that shit. What's that shit called? Game Facts? You ever heard of
sure.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was on Game Facts.
Owned by GameSpot.
GameSpot?
Shit, you're right.
Yeah, it's owned by GameSpot now.
It's still around? Game Facts?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Wait, maybe I'm saying the wrong name.
No,
was it around since like I'm talking about like since like Halo 1 days, Halo 2
and like
days.
it looks the same too. Like it has not been updated.
Nope.
Yeah.
It's the same exact website.
So yeah, I don't know how much everybody watches Kind of Funny content. That's the reason I'm on this podcast, because we all met each other through Kind of Funny, because I'm sure y'all got y'all own fans and shit. But Tone Deaf is a big fucking part of Kind of Funny, and we found him through Game Facts, and then we found this other dude, Promise NYC, who's like my favorite rapper, or one of my top 5 to this day. Like, I mean, I've bought music off him that's exclusive that I haven't put out, because I'm like, I own my favorite rapper's music. I'm gonna fucking keep this fuck the public. You know what I mean? So that website was really I don't know. And it taught me and Tim a lot, bro. And I was bringing it up because, sorry, I just blanked on my fucking point, bro. But damn, sorry, I just lost it, bro. Game Facts and the music. Sorry, bro, I just lost it. Can you pick it back up?
No, it's my fault. I'm so sorry.
It was on me. Definitely was on me.
So you said, Tone Deaf. Another Kind of Funny best friend that's really famous that people know is Cisco. Like, how does it feel to like have such big touchstones to the hip hop rap industry just because of a nerdy video game like content? Like not even that, but like that them and they know you. Like, how does that make you feel? Like the guy that wrote Thong Song knows you.
For sure. I want to say real quick, I remember what I was going to say, but I'm going to move on from it right now just because this is a great conversation. Dude, it was so important to me that like I to these guys, I know they really respect everything Cisco did, but I think they also thought it was very comedic because it's the Thong Song guy, it was like 50-50, right? But for me, it was like, all I was thinking was like, oh my God, bro, he's exactly what you just said. He has so much ties with everybody. I want to make sure I say the right thing. I want to make sure I say the right thing. One time I'm on camera with him and I'm speaking to him, and I'm like, I say one thing and he took it in a totally different way. And I was just so embarrassed that I just stopped speaking to him, because I was just like, I can't believe I dropped the ball like that. And I forgot exactly what it was, but it was basically, I was comparing rappers to wrestlers, saying they put on a personification. But when I was saying that, it was the conversation we were having was about being on stage. So I was saying specifically about the rappers I listen to, I know are fucking not comfortable on stage. So as soon as they could rap in the booth and it's all real, but like when they go on stage, they have to act different because they're not used to being in front of hella people, and it's super fucking weird, but I think he took it in a sense of like, these rappers ain't real. They're not living what they're rapping about. You know what I mean? And I was
You're
like,
insulting
fuck,
them,
that's
yeah.
not what I. Yeah, saying like their career is them pretending, the personification, or you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
When I'm saying no, I'm talking about specifically when they hop on stage, like that moment, they got to pretend they're more confident they are because like. I mean, not to be weird, but like the corniest way to say it, or like the easiest way, it'd be like, have you guys seen Get Rich or Die Trying with 50 Cent?
Mm-hmm.
At the very end, he has to have the fucking bulletproof vest on and he takes it off. He's worried for his life, but he's saying, I don't care. I'm giving it to the people still, right?
Mm.
That is what I'm saying. Like these people are worried for their life. They're in front of people. They don't know who the fuck's on the stage, and a lot of people want to kill them, but they're still going out there. That's what I'm saying is they're putting on that fake wrestling persona. Like,
Sure.
I'm more confident than I really am right now. So
Sure.
yeah, that is like when you're asking me how's that mean, how much it meant to me. Cisco's been nothing but a best friend since this one bad moment I'm explaining for no reason. But yeah.
No, but anxiety, like you thought you fucked up, and like he's gonna hate you forever.
Oh
And
yeah,
like,
and then since then he's bought me Harry Potter tickets to the play.
nice.
Like, you know,
that's
and that's not a
fantastic.
stunt. That's a shout out to him. Like he's a fucking player. Like he's super cool.
Yeah.
Like, dude, that's so
awesome.
cool that he did
Amazing.
that. And after us having that weird interaction, you know, but he knows it's all
Yeah.
love. But yeah, that sucked. I really feel like I dropped the ball because, man, you know that whole like, what did they say, like 5 degrees of separation from a person or whatever. Once I met him, I was so like I went from like 10 degrees away from Jay-Z to like 3. You know what I mean? I was like, wow, you're like such an
You're right
important.
there. You're right
Yeah,
there.
like, well, I'm just gonna do. You know what I mean? Let's fucking go. You know, just all
And you have,
jokes.
and you have to think a man that takes off his shirt for content. Like it's all because of that one.
Got it, man. Got to. Greg Miller changed lives taking off his shirt.
Speaking.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Can I jump in real quick?
Yes.
I'll sum it up. My bad. I just want to make sure I don't
Take all the time
go
you
out
need.
on this podcast looking too soft. I remember what I was going to say. The GameFAQs thing is, so basically GameFAQs kind of taught me and Tim, not to be too corny, hip hop in a sense, because all I knew was Nelly and Eminem before that. So then once that kind of got into the junction, my older brother Tim, you know, because I'm like 3rd grade or whatever, I don't know shit about shit. He's telling me like, "Ayo, everyone's saying that Nas, Jay-Z, Biggie, Eminem, and Tupac are the greatest of all time. That's the top 5, dead or alive, right?" So I went out of my way to listen to them. And the only one I didn't understand was Jay-Z. And I was like, why is he in this group? I don't get it. Like, he doesn't seem like he should be in this league. So he's the one I kind of like doubled down on and made sure I listened to more to be like, why the fuck is he in this fucking group? And then after really like putting in so much time to try to figure it out, one day it just, whoa, he's so much better than all these guys. Like he's just leagues ahead. Like it just took me a second to try to understand it. And I'm not saying it's going to work for that for everyone. But that's how it clicked for me, you know. And like by 6th grade, I was preaching the word of Jehovah. Like, yeah, no one is ever going to come close to this guy. But and he's and I mean, shit. Look how his career look is almost undebatable. But please, all right, let's move on now. Please, I just wanted to put that out. I just wanted to make sure I got that one out.
That's
It's
awesome.
your show, Greg.
Sorry.
Do whatever you want with it.
Talking about
Pretty
Jay-Z.
much.
If it's my show, then can I talk about my homie Wacker real quick? My
Go
homie
for
just
it.
passed away. My homie just passed away. It's my bro right here. He's super
Oh.
crazy. I just had to clear out my desk. Get kind of funny. You know, as you guys know, we're moving at a new spot. And I'm in Tim's room, not my room, but I just found his newspaper. And like he was in the newspaper one time and I was just reading this shit. And like he passed away just like a week ago. It's just crazy to be like, he does some wild shit. Everybody does some wild shit, but really everybody out there, be careful. Take care of yourselves. I know I'm over here smoking blunts and drinking alcohol, but like just everybody really take care of yourselves, man.
It's all about,
You
in
never know.
in moderation, as far as the drinking and smoking is concerned.
Be
Yeah.
safe about it, yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm glad you brought that up because that was something that I didn't want to bring up myself, but I definitely was kind of hoping you'd talk about because I know that you were close and he was family. So
Yeah, that's my man's, man. We just we go through a lot of shit. He's been through a lot of shit. He's been through a lot more shit than me, man. Like if I'm not gonna put it out there because it's not that important, but I swear if we Googled his name, he has such funny fucking reports out there about him, dude. Just the funniest things ever, dude. And he wouldn't care about me telling these stories, but a couple of highlights out there that I would throw out, and hopefully it's not disrespect to you, bro. And you if you want to cut this out, feel free to.
Oh.
Like my man broke out of YGC. That's our jail for the youth. He was the first person to ever do it. there's a whole news report about him doing this shit, and it's so fucking funny to me, man. It's like they do an interview with him once he turned 18, and it's for the newspaper, and he's on the same boat that my man Nick just did a comedy show on, and it's just so funny to me. Just like it's just my man. They're interviewing him about breaking out of fucking jail, and he's just there like, I turned my life around. He's like doing this one of these fake smiles, like as like in the uniform, and then
that's
like
amazing.
6-7 years ago. And now I'm over here watching this comedy show on a boat with my man Nick, and I'm just like, this boat line look kind of familiar. And then my boy, not to make a joke of it, but like, he passes away, and then I'm looking at these pictures. I'm like, wait, the Red and White Fleet. It's fucking. I was just on that boat, bro. What the fuck, like, it's just.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome that you have like that.
And then he also, for me, like, I got a bunch of connections to this story because I've talked about this before, so I'm not going to go into detail, but I caught it on the Greg Miller podcast when I first got hired, when I interviewed him. I caught a case one time. Through there being so much people in the case, they had to give me my own personal lawyer because it couldn't be a DA because there was too much people in the DA and it was going to be like a conflict of interest or whatever. So then they got me a lawyer, and now that dude is the fucking DA for SF. So he switched sides, and he's apparently helping out a home. Like, he's like a good one. Like, we fuck with him out here. I don't really know shit about shit, but apparently everyone likes him. I know he was helping everybody with Corona get out of San Quentin, and he helped my boy who just passed away get out of San Quentin about fucking 2 months ago. So like he has some crazy charges that we can fucking Google, and like it's like a whole report about him. Like, he's caught in the house and shit, but he was out of jail, and he was free and shit, and that was just really cool. Like, he has like a lot of W's, you know what I mean? A lot of W's in his corner. He made a couple of mistakes here and there, but like it's just I got a lot of great memories from him, man. And then just some of the funnest ones are just the ones that the news wrote about.
Sure.
That's always some of the fun ones.
That memory is there forever.
Yeah. And then only one of them I have a newspaper report, but the rest of them, yeah, again, like you said, I could just Google it and shit. But it's just cool, man. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we can go on and talk about whatever.
Yeah, that's great.
That's awesome.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you for letting me shout him out. Definitely a GoFundMe on my Instagram page. Actually, I don't want to say Instagram page. There's a GoFundMe out there. We'll see how we put that out there.
We'll probably put a link to it in the description if
we could. That'd be dope. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
But they do say like a person's never dead until like the last time their name is said. So in a way, you telling these stories is keeping your friend alive. So I think that's really cool that you decided to shout him out like that.
Yeah, and one of the best things about graffiti is once the people for me pass away or go to jail, your friends write their name 10 times more than they ever called them. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, we make sure the names never die for sure.
Awesome.
But yeah, what we can do is we can when we do the posting of this episode, we can throw that link in the post as well as on the description of the Twitter video. Or I mean the YouTube video.
Yeah. And again, appreciate all the GoFundMe and shit, but realistically, it's just the stories. I want the name out there. My man Wack, WACK1 for me, just from San Francisco. Just
Absolutely. So we'll go back to a little bit lighter subject here. What's your favorite color?
Favorite color, man. Damn. I would have to say it's either gray or orange.
Okay.
When it comes to clothing, definitely gray. But when it comes to like when I draw, I tend to try to use orange as like highlights always. I fuck with orange.
That's awesome.
Halloween in San Francisco, like the Giants and shit. I'm not a baseball fan, but
sure.
Yeah. Orange.
I mean, San Francisco has definitely kind of got a lot of orange in its
black and orange.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Giants.
I mean, the Golden Gate Bridge,
oh yeah, that too. Yeah, I don't even see that as orange, but definitely, yep.
So definitely a lot of representation there. And then this question comes from @StaySuper on Twitter, and he says, how's editing life? Like how has editing been for you at Kind of Funny, especially since you guys are in quarantine now? There's a lot more I feel like there's a lot more content coming out where editing may or may not be necessary. So how much editing are you doing? How is the editing going? How much have you learned about editing since starting at Kind of Funny? How do you feel about your editing skills?
comes from Camille too.
That is a fucking literally. I'm not even trying to be like weird. That is a fucking great question, bro. Like, cause I honestly, bro, this far into the game, I felt like I should know more about editing. Not saying that like they should teach me more, or I should like go on my own to learn more. I'm not really sure what the answer is, but I did just assume I would know more about it. But then it kind of like like I edit podcasts and like I don't really see myself kind of like getting out of that. So like my edits are never going to really be that complicated, you know. So when I do drop the ball, a lot of the times, like when I fuck up an edit or something, a lot of the times it's miscommunication or a misunderstanding, and like it's hindsight. Fuck, obviously that's the way it's supposed to happen. You know what I mean? But like a lot of the times, I'm over here when I do it, it's a conscious decision to make the wrong decision. You know what I mean? I'm over here like I just think this is the right way to do it. But then when someone's like, "Oh, you shouldn't have done this," and they call me out, I'm like, you know what? That makes hella sense. But you, you know what? Not to divulge too much, but I think what sets me back a lot is I don't watch a lot of internet content, and it there's kind of a flow of things that I know Kevin and Joey and Barrett specific and Andy specifically understand just in the way they communicate with me and the way they when something is an idea is said, they are like, well, the best friends might think this but if you're on Patreon, then this will happen. And I don't really like, I don't listen to no Spotify podcasts, I don't listen to YouTube podcasts, and I don't listen to any Patreon podcasts. So just the idea of like kind of like how people intake the content to me is still kind of like a strange idea, when I think everybody else in my company just kind of has their head wrapped around that super well. So when I make mistakes, a lot of it is just me, you know, thinking it's the right idea, but just fucking up, you know? So as far as my skills go, I think for the job I have to do, I'm fully capable. But if I had to edit like a party mode, fuck nah. You know what I mean? Like
Like
I couldn't.
there's still room
Mm.
for you to learn a little bit more, but like you're fine where you're at.
I mean,
Like
I'd be willing to learn, but like, I mean, I'm not the perfect student. Like, I don't know if like Andy's willing to teach, or I don't even know how that would happen. You know what I mean? Like, who's there to teach me that? You know, that's just a whole nother show. Like maybe Blessing's like, hey, I want to come up with the show. We need someone to edit it, and then they're like, hey, we need you to learn, and then we figure it out from there. But right now, I think the my role isn't to ever have advanced edits. It's always just to make sure that the things we do that we're known for get edited, and I'm comfortable with that.
Nice.
Just an
That's
idea
awesome.
for like the podcast, like how to edit the podcast a little bit more. Sometimes there'll be dead air, which means like there'll be just be dead silence for like 5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you could like try cutting some of those out, just because like sometimes like the dead air will just be like, is anybody talking right now?
Like half the
I
time,
feel like
that's just Greg not saying
yeah,
anything just to
Yeah,
fuck with
like,
everybody.
just an idea, just a suggestion, but like still, like you don't
So
have to do it.
that's I hella hear what you're saying, and there's definitely a way to get at that. I just wouldn't know because when I'm editing this shit, I feel like I'm making people wait longer than they should be already. And then when I'm trying to put it
Daily.
together, I make the fucking time codes, and half the time just through the
Oh,
rigmarole through everything, I get the time codes wrong anyways. Just because like through me putting in a Premiere and then it processing or whatever, and then it's out and it's on YouTube, and then when I put them up there and they're still wrong, and I'm like, I mean, not to make excuses, I copy and paste the wrong ones a lot too. Like sometimes just mistakes happen or whatever, or I forgot to take out one or whatever. So then just shit like that happens. So like if when they record and they send me the time codes, if I were to like cut that out, I would have to like edit the time codes on top of that. And
sure.
that's
Makes sense.
and then this might sound like excuses, and y'all can take this as excuses, but
fine.
just the no, not y'all, just like the audience, and just to give
Oh,
the
okay.
answers right. The straight up truth is, like I'm already making mistakes without doing that. Like I really like I'm trying to like do my best, and we're trying to make this happen for y'all. You know what I mean? So I don't know how realistic it is where I could like make separate time codes without making mistakes right now. But we're working towards, you know, I'm always trying to like better it, you know.
I
But
totally get what you mean though, because that makes sense. Because you have the time codes that are in a very specific spot, and if you start cutting time from one part of an audio or video, then all of a sudden that changes the rest of the timing for everything. So refining those time codes can be really hard. So I totally understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
yeah,
Especially
and,
the amount of content that you guys put out.
Yeah.
and,
Honestly,
and
I forgot Ben was here.
Hey, everyone does.
and it's
You
weird
haven't
to
said
me
anything
too
for a long
because
time.
there's a lot of times where I really just like I'll update the time codes and I still get them completely wrong. And I think there's just like something to the processing or just something I'm doing wrong where I'm not really fully understanding. So yeah, the time codes have always been a struggle with me. But so that's why I try to do as little as cutting out. But so what I'm expecting is that's in the beginning. It's just dead silent in the beginning.
The daily. I'm not talking about the kind of funny games daily stuff. I'm talking about like the podcast. Like sometimes they'll be like, "Let me look something up," and there's silence, and like I
Yeah, I
don't know.
mean, there's a lot of time though where they're like, can somebody say something to fill time? I don't really think I don't know. That's just, I assume that's just part of the kind of funny rigmarole.
It's because I sometimes I listen to like another podcast and they edit it. To be fair, it's the only podcast that they make. They don't make like 20 podcasts a week, but like they edit it so that there's no dead air. Like there's like no room to breathe for them. So it's like that's what I was thinking. But like
Oh,
I remember
like some Philip DeFranco type shit where it's like as he's
yes,
speaking, it's just
kind of like that.
oh, I see
Like,
what
kind
you're
of like
saying.
that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. See, I don't. Yeah, they've never expressed to me that they
Yeah.
wanted it like that, but yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, they're
Maybe
always
not
listening,
that,
man. Yeah, just yeah, I
maybe
don't
not that
know.
fast. Maybe not that fast, but
It's
like just a little
something
quicker
like
there.
that. Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I don't know.
but definitely not the kind of funny games daily because there's no time of the day for that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But like the weekly stuff, like the kind of funny podcast or the X cast or stuff like that. Just an idea.
So
Just
you
like a
guys
thought I
listen to
had.
everything.
I
As-
listen to everything every now and then.
As much as
Not
we
when it
can.
comes out.
You guys are
Yeah.
making so much
Okay.
content now that it's like I try to keep up, but especially when it comes to
Yeah.
kind of funny games, it's like I miss so many episodes of games daily because there's just so much time in the day and I can't spend it all watching this stuff.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, I listen to a lot of podcasts instead of music lately. Just because it like I was saying helps kind of with that social interaction aspect. It makes me feel like I'm not just isolated. And so I definitely listen to a lot of the content for sure.
Yeah. That's just cool because I like a lot of the We Have Cool Friends. I watched a bunch of those because they always have like dope ass characters or whatever.
Shout out to that Cool Greg episode.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Well,
with
bangs.
Sasha.
Shout out to
right?
both of them, the
Right.
Man,
Sasha one and yours.
that was a good episode. What was that like? What was that like when she came into the studio that
Too
day?
much. Bro. Like really, now that it's said and done, like obviously I'm forever grateful that it happened.
Yeah.
But fuck, man, I really wish that kind of like didn't happen, man. Cause I mean, I don't know, like I just love being like the Jay-Z shit, you know, like I'll forever be a fan of Jay-Z. I don't necessarily need to meet Jay-Z. Like I don't want him to know this, you know. Like it's like
Like
when
I
I'm
wouldn't
dealing,
hate it. I wouldn't be upset if I met him. But like,
yeah, it's like when I'm dealing with her, it's like not dealing. Obviously, it was a pleasure to be with her, but it's like
yeah,
I didn't really know. Like that's more. Remember that question earlier? Is like, is this a persona?
yeah.
Me talking to fucking her was more of a persona than anything else y'all have ever seen. Because I was just trying to play it cool. Because the real me would have been like simp season, bro. Like, bro, like I'd have been like, dude, you what? Like, nah, I just really respect what you're doing. Like, I can't even believe you in my city. Thank you. You know what I mean? But
In California, like just period.
you know, yeah, all this shit. Like, hell yeah, man. But that was cool. I just
Did
yeah,
anything happen behind the scenes that we didn't see on camera? It was like a little.
I got an autograph. She offered that to
Okay.
me, which is cool because you know I'm a tagger, so like people's signatures mean the world to me. So
Yeah.
when I didn't have to ask for it, and I've stood in line and paid for her shit before, that was cool. It was on the zombie one too.
She came to you for that
Well, I
one.
mean, we're just chopping it up, and she saw it, and she was like, "Oh, do you want me to autograph it?" I was like, "Oh ain't shit. You know, I happen to have. I just start whipping out markers from everywhere because you know me. You know, it's like you want some paint. What you want? What you want? I got it all.
That's amazing.
That was
Take
cool.
out a can and just start shaking it.
Yeah, right. Like just so that was dope. But yeah, nothing too crazy. I didn't know like when she first walked up, like she came in, just gave me a hug. I didn't know they were recording, but then eventually you went on a up, down, down, and then I saw like one of the first comments is like, "Damn, why he hug her like that?" And I'm like, "What the fuck?" So I went to see my hug, and I was just like this, like bro, I was like this, like you know, I didn't. It's the women's champion 4 times at that point. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? So like, I'm supposed to grip her? Like, I don't know. She don't want to slam me and shit. So I was just like, but it's just crazy that they called me out, you know. And it's like, obviously, she's best friends with Bailey, who's like the hugger, right? So it's like, I got all these jokes in the comments about like, you know, like shit, best friends, hugger, and like he sucks and he's the best friend. Like I'm like, fuck, you know. But actually, it was all jokes, though. You know what I mean? I took it for me with a smile, but
Yeah.
I would,
That's
yeah,
great.
definitely.
I love
that's
fun.
just great. But I told Tim, like, if you ever had that Jay-Z connection, don't give it to me. Give it to Greggy. Let me be in the background. Like, give me some space, man.
I think honestly, I don't know if I'd want Greg or Nick to do a Jay-Z interview. I think I'd want Tim on that.
Got to be Tim. Got to be
Yeah,
Tim.
it'd have to be. I don't think Greg and Nick know who the hell Jay-Z is.
Man,
like they probably
That's
think
real.
he's
Not
just
enough.
like he's like some businessman or something. They have no idea.
They're not wrong either.
I mean, to be fair, he is a very successcul businessman.
Yeah, they probably just think that's it. Like, oh, Jay-Z, that guy that owns the company. Yeah, of course.
While we're on the subject of Sasha Banks, what's it like being like you're basically a friend of the WWE? You grew up loving the WWE. What's that like for you?
I would definitely say I hear what you're saying, and that's hella dope that you said that, and I appreciate that. But Greggy is like a friend of the WWE.
No, I know, but like you're the
like
you know, they know you
I'm like a friend of a friend. You know what I mean? Like kind of.
They know your name. Like if they hear you coming,
kind of in there.
Like they'll be like, yeah, he can come. It's fine.
I mean, it'd be more like Greggy might get in there, and then Greggy probably can't make it, and then he might be able to finesse me in there instead. You know what I mean? Like, that's usually kind of how it happens. It's not usually so much like, "Hey, yo, cool, Greg, alley-oop, they want you." Like, you know what I mean? It's usually a lot of like, let's hope, and then it happens, you know. And a lot of good things have happened. A lot of things that we thought were going to happen didn't happen, you know. And there's been a lot of ups and downs, but most of the ups have been like, you know, I got a one-on-one interview with Shane McMahon. Like, that's fucking unbelievable. Like that was my first interview ever. Like, they were just like, "Hey, you're gonna." They didn't even like ask me. They were just like, "Hey, come sit down." Like literally, we talked about it, I think, and they're like, "Hey, yo, we're gonna do a mic check," and then, "Hey, you're gonna interview fucking Shane," and it's like, what the fuck, you know? And I did my best, but also I'm like, I don't know what the fuck to talk about, you know? But that's why I think I did my best talking to Sasha, because Tim, you know, was like, you know, you're not an interviewer. It's like, don't pretend to be what you're not. Like, you're a fan, just conversate with her. Like, what would you talk to your boys about? You know, just talk to her about that. So that's why I kept running back to like, what do you watch on Netflix? What do you eat? Like, you know, just like normal conversational kind of things, because she's probably used to the, so you're from Boston and you're a 5-time champ. You know what I mean? Like all the normal shit, you know?
Yeah.
Speaking of that, being from San Francisco, where would you recommend someone go eat if they were like in San Francisco for the first time?
Shit. All right. Well, something that I'm trying to think of that the guys haven't already said, because I don't watch a lot of their shit, but I know Tim and them.
I mean, even if they've said it, who cares? Just go into it.
Well, my favorite burrito spot's Gordo's. Like, I love Gordo's, so I would say check out Gordo's. But then, you know, I don't know. Like, there's places down. Like, there's like a Vietnamese spot over on a 6th and Market that I can't pronounce the name, bro. But it's like Sing or something like Tights. I don't know. It's on 6th and Market though. But that shit's fucking smacking. It's about like halfway down the block, bro.
I know
Shit,
which one you're talking about.
Yeah, like
it's
like a
is
little
it Des Moines?
How do you say it?
I think it's Des Moines.
I don't see. That's what I'm saying. I don't know how you say it. I just be going. I just go there. That I would recommend that spot. If you're looking it up, I definitely think we could find it. But
Yeah, I'm trying. Give me a second. Go ahead and keep talking.
it's before the alley, and it's on a 6 Market. But yeah, and then besides that, there's another burrito spot that's right next to the YGC that I was saying that my boy broke out of. That's my second favorite burrito spot. And it's like a different type of burrito, and it's a super tower, which is weird because like it's like a half grocery store, half burrito spot. So it sound like some bullshit. You know what I mean? It sound like it's like fucking sideline thought shit, but it's actually super smacking.
Greg, I live in Texas. That's more common than you think.
Oh, really? Yeah, because we don't have many of those out here.
Just like a combination restaurant, supermarket. Yeah.
Yeah,
like
we don't got. This is like the only one I could even think of, to be real. Like we don't have even in the Mission District, we don't got them like that.
I think there's like an HEB in like Houston that has a Whataburger connected to it.
Oh
like,
shit, man!
So it's like a serious thing. Like it's a serious thing that we take here.
Is it Yishin?
See, I don't know.
All right. We tried.
Yeah, sorry. I'm not too familiar with the foreign words, bro. It's hard for me.
No, you're good. I was just
definitely know it's on 6 and Market. Like on the corner, like going down 6 on 6. But yeah.
I'm sure that'll be enough for people to find.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Hey man, I got my homie. You guys know who Tucker Carlson or whatever that guy name is?
Yeah.
I got my homie's picture that one time because one time he called me a cuck. And do you guys know what a cuck is?
Yeah.
I didn't know what a cuck was. This is like a year ago. I never heard the word cuck, so I googled the word cuck, and then it said Tuck is a cuck, and it was this guy. I sent it to him, and he just started dying. He's like, "That's a fucking reporter, bro," or some shit like that. And I'm like, I don't know either of these motherfuckers are. So then I put that as his picture. Every time he calls me, it just comes up as that Tuck guy. And then since then, people have told me like, oh yeah, that guy is like some like fucking Fox reporter or some shit, and a cuck's like a guy who like watches his girlfriend like date or like fuck.
Right.
Yeah.
I was like,
that's basically
it was just
who
weird.
That guy is. Yeah.
Learning with Cool Greg.
Yeah, if y'all didn't know what cuck was, is that a common ass word? Do people know what that means?
It's definitely like on the internet slang for sure. Like
it's internet.
No. It's a real word. Yeah,
it's a real word, but like it's popularized by the internet slang.
Yeah, it's become more popular over the past like couple years, but yeah.
Especially as
I ain't never heard that shit.
Very popular insult for most people nowadays.
Ben, I think you have a question that you ask every guest. Do you want to ask that?
Oh yes, CoolG. So, question for you. So, something that I ask everyone is obviously Greg Miller is everywhere at all times. So, I have this theory that he potentially could be some sort of android or clone. I talked to Nick about it. He thought that potentially Greg might be some sort of demon. Blessing thought that he might be some sort of doppelganger. So I'd love to know, have you seen any sort of evidence to think that, that Greg Miller could be a clone, an android, or have you got an entirely different theory of all of your own?
I was willing to go along with this joke until you said evidence, and I was like, fuck.
It's just your personal belief. Your personal belief.
Your theories, man.
I don't know about this.
People say Earth is flat. They have no evidence of that. So like,
it's getting too real.
He's a fucking doppelganger. I mean, honestly, I'm gonna say I believe that it's just one of them. Just because I'm praying that there's just not two of these lunatics out there. I'm just praying that there can't be, because like where does it drop? Where do you draw the line? You know?
Yes.
You can't split 50 anywhere where I'm comfortable with one of these guys. Nah. So hopefully there's just one. Y'all seen that Joker shit? Remember that?
Yep.
Yeah. Ronald McDonald, not Joker. Sorry. It's the
same. It's the same difference. The Clown Prince of Nuggets.
That's a perfect answer. That's great.
Of which, I would have to say my favorite thing that I've ever seen you do is be the Hamburglar, because I've just never seen anything that just made more sense in my life.
That was so good. Oh, I love
Definitely
that.
told Tim, like, hey man, I think I'm trying to be off camera, man. These motherfuckers' best friends has been hating, man. And then he was like, nah, all right, that's cool, but we got this one thing where you need to be the hamburglar. I'm like, the fucking hamburglar? What the fuck, man? And then,
It's cheesy as hell, but God, it really put a smile on my face to see you again as a hamburglar.
Yeah, that was great.
They gave me like lines, and I'm trying to read this shit, and then eventually I'm like, bro, like, it's hard. Like, no, it's not hard to read the lines. It's just like I'm not a fucking actor, you know what I mean? So it's like it's hard to read the lines and like pretend like I'm saying the lines, you know?
Right.
And yeah, eventually he was just like, just say something. You know, I was like, all right. So last night I was like, hey man, you know, and I just kind of said some shit. Like if you go back and listen to it, it's like I don't really know what it really has to do with anything, but it got the point across. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I don't think that anybody that was in that episode knows what was going on either, so you're fine.
Yeah,
that whole episode was just.
That's all I'm saying. It blended in perfectly. It's just if you really break it down, it's like my shit definitely. There wasn't like a you know, I didn't start saying something and when I ended that we took something from the moment. There was none of that. It was just more of like, hey, Cougar's the hamburglar. He's talking. You know what I mean? That's kind of all you took from the moment.
Another
which I'm fine with.
Another question we ask kind of everybody, at least at Kind of Funny, is how do you feel about the content? You know, pre-quarantine versus.
I'm just playing.
As far as the content is concerned, pre-quarantine versus post-quarantine, like, has it been harder for you to work in the quarantine environment? Easier for you?
Oh, definitely a lot easier. But that's because I went from production assistant, which is like cleaning. I mean, y'all used to see it, right? Like cleaning up and like just changing the sets and like helping with coffee, which are little things, but you know, you got to be there on time to do this shit, right? To just editing. So kind of it got cut in half, but then they started editing a lot more and shit started going to different places and all this shit, right? So things kind of got a little different in that aspect. But Kevin really is the one who like made my job like as smooth as possible. Like, you know, he makes sure anytime there's something that a step I can cut out, he'll come over, explain to me real quick, and then just like, you know, cut the fuck out. Like he'll just be there for 5 minutes to just say some shit. So it's gotten easier, but it's definitely because of Kevin. You know, I would say that because it should be a lot harder, but easier. It's gotten easier, but also like a lot more. You got to pay attention. You know what I mean? You got to focus. Compared to when I was in the studio, it seemed like it was just breezing by. Everything was felt natural. You know what I mean? Now it's like everything's going a bunch of different ways.
And then, oh, go ahead, Caesar.
No, interesting. I didn't have anything to add on to that.
Okay. So I was gonna ask if anyone else had any other questions to close out. Anybody?
Yeah, on that note, I mean, Kevin seems to me anyway, from what everyone talks about and all the work you can even see just on screen, but it sounds like he's, you know, probably the MVP, you know, doing a lot of the work behind the scenes there. What was it like growing up with Kevin? Like,
that's a great question. I didn't think about. Yeah.
I mean, dude, man, it's. I struggle on what I should say and like what he wants out there and everything.
Tell
But
us
it's just
everything.
No, but he's definitely somebody who I remember. Anytime there was like a fad or a trend in my life, telling him about and him just being in full support and thinking outside the box and trying to figure out a way I could do it better and differently than the people that I was competing against. And he was never even trying to play the game. He was just trying to make sure I was better off, you know, like yeah.
So he was supportive.
All supportive, but like it's not even like, you know, support is like, you know, hey, do what you do, right? But there's also the support where it's like, all right, so I've been doing some calculations, and if we hit the brick at this speed, it'll crack like that, and then you just spray it with the paint, and then it'll look like it's like glowing. Like he'll do some weird shit like that. You know what I mean? Like he's always just thinking in just in a different like hey, we can get ropes and hang down instead of climbing up. You know what I mean? Like it's always just the different way of going about it, right? And
Perspective.
Perspective, and that's in my personal life. And then when you take it to kind of funny, I mean, we're only the garbage can. What is it? The garbage truck on fire
Yeah,
or whatever.
garbage truck on fire.
You know,
Yep.
like we're only still running because of him. You know, I mean, that fire is burning the fucking something that's keeping the shit going. You know what I mean? Like it all makes sense somehow. Like the fire's meant to be there.
We went into this episode pretty hot. So normally when somebody gets on camera, I usually do a little "you're pretty good." So I'll go ahead and do that right now, and that's, "Hey, cool Greg, I just want to say you're pretty good." And then did you want to pimp anything out, throw anything out there for anybody, or?
I think I already did. I think I already wrapped that up. Oh, other than kind of funny. We're live all the fucking time, way too often, more live than you want. So just come through, check it out. Kind of funny games on everything. So check it out.
That'd be a great slogan.
More live than you want us to be.
That's great.
That's great.
Yeah. Thank you guys for having me on, man. Definitely really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for coming on, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, we'll have
live from the quarantine.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
All right, that was episode of Out of Our League with the one and only cool Greg Gettys. And have a wonderful night, everybody.
Bye.